So, for anybody, I'm pouring a glass of wine here, by the way. Here, cheers. It's December 26, 2020, and I'm talking with my buddy Chris here. We were talking about something that's been going on for about an hour, something like that. We came to this particular spot because we want to document something that's happening here, and it's actually kind of funny. Where we have these T-shirts, which we'll put a picture somewhere, maybe even a link if you want to buy one.
Good.
But we've got these T-shirts that are these taco tees.
Wait, I'm wondering what.
So we're like, my wife, who's selling stuff online, just started selling things online. She wants to sell these T-shirts. So she asks, well, can I sell them? We bring them over, and then all of a sudden now Chris is getting a little excited because it's all his deal, okay?
And I don't do shit to sell.
Right. So Chris finds somebody online that will model and pose. So we got to the point right here because this story goes so sideways, and it's actually so funny that Chris is going to tell you here. But it's a business proposition probability that can actually come true and be fruitful. And so Chris,
in a couple of different ways. I mean, because it might not traditionally be like you think you're going down this path, and suddenly it's like, whoa, hey, where are we going?
So after the police helicopter's gone, start over from when you got on the internet and you went looking for someone to model some shirts. Is that how it happened?
Not really.
Well, okay. so
Instagram. So
all right.
Instagram,
Tell us.
So on Instagram, I mean, your friends and your family on Instagram, they're posting pictures. You're like, hey, here's a pretty sunset, blah blah blah. And then you get somebody like, hey, you got pretty eyes. It's like, whoa, okay, who are you? And then it's like, da da da. Wow, you look pretty good in a t-shirt. And then, it's like, whoa, send me some shirts and then I'll model for you, and you got to pay me money. And it's like, I don't know if I'm really comfortable with that.
Yeah.
And so this whole dialogue, and next thing you know, you're getting shaken down for some money for modeling fees. And then it's like, oh, well, my cousin's in jail, and I need to bail them out because they got the camera. And, like, who are you?
Basically, you met someone on the internet.
On the internet.
All right. And
stranger.
You a total stranger, and they start asking for money, get their brother out of jail, et cetera, et cetera. But we're looking for a model for these T-shirts.
Right.
All right. So they said they would model it, but in the meantime, they're trying to shake you down for a whole lot of money in order for the brother.
And so George and Marie have all the T-shirts, because they're like, hey, well, we're going to sell T-shirts. I'm like, okay. And then it's like, well, now I suddenly need to send T-shirts to this person. It's like, what size do you want? It's like, well, it's a large. And I'm thinking, well, that seems not really what I've been looking at. But at the same time, maybe whatever, And so in this process, it's kind of like, I just want somebody to model the T-shirts. It's kind of like, I don't care if it's your Hillbilly Bob or something like that. It might
so if they're from a
foreign
foreign country, if they're from India and the whole thing was photoshopped, you would be okay with that.
I would.
Just fess up, tell me who you are, what you're doing, and if you can do the job, I'll pay you.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. I'll in other words, so I'm going to ship out one of every style of shirts that we have, and
to this person.
To this person, no name, and I'm like 50-50 on, do I say signature?
And hold on, they live in LA. They live in LA.
They live in LA.
Where are you going to ship the stuff to?
San Jose.
All right.
Half a state away.
Oh man.
And I didn't grow up, but I mean, Los Gatos is like over here, and we'd always look down. We'd go to San Jose to get in fights and shit like that, So I mean, it's like, well, that's a pretty rough area. So I'm thinking, well, you know what? Actually, that might be a pretty good model, And again, if it's some guy,
so she's got like tattoos, and the girl's really kind of.
But again, you don't know if that's her.
Well, right. Well, let's hope. You guys vote down there below. Do you want us to get some shirts over to this girl and model so you can see the tattoos and all the cool stuff? And she's really attractive, actually, in the pictures. So you vote with a yes or a no, and then we'll take that and see if we show you the.
I'd really like to see them.
Yeah, get you the pictures up there. So, all right. So where are you at now, or what's next?
So what I've done is I've done the creative brief, because and that's the process too.
What's a creative brief?
Okay, so again, that's part of the process. Like, oh, well, I'm a model. This is the way you do it, and I'm going. I used to organize publication, still print. You know, in other words, like we bring in actors and photographers and lighting and have a set. And I mean, I've been through all this. I know what contracts are like. And so it's like, no, you know, this is what we do. I'm like, okay, you know what? You can do it that way. You know, and we'll see what happens because, you know, when they're talking through that process, I'm like, this just doesn't, you know.
It's not right. It's not, they're not a true.
But I think, though, at the same time, if I get a shot of we have 6 shirts?
Yeah.
6 shirts, selfie done, it's slocky, and it's still a consistent type of thing.
If it sells. I mean, they say sex sells, right?
Right? We'll see what happens. I mean, so the creative brief is saying, like, I'll give you an example. So this one right here says, show me your taco, right? This is not like a really graphic one, but then we got our taco head in here and says, show me your taco. And so what my thing is, you dress up like a Catholic schoolgirl, right? And so, and maybe like a little suicide bit on the Haley thing. And what she does, she's ripping out her shirt like this, and she's like, show me your taco, you know? Kind of like a Superman, you know, Suicide Squad. It'd be kind of cool, kind of funny, you know?
Yep.
And so each of them, I have a different brief on there, so that way they kind of know what they could do, and again, they can do whatever. And I just got finished telling them, look, I mean, again, I don't care if you're not the person I think that you are and you've been saying you are, get me my photos.
So you get the photos.
Yeah.
And the photos are a hit, all right? Everything plus more than what you expected. So you're doing well there. And you got into it probably cheap, or you will be getting into it cheap. And if it's a complete success, man, this is just a win.
Oh, totally. It would totally be a win.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what we used to do when we coming out with an invention. You go in here and they talk about being able to pivot.
Yeah.
You know, where you can loosen up your whole anal control if it has to be like this. And just by having that looseness, maybe it doesn't go exactly where you thought it was going to go.
Right. And
maybe it's something different. You know, in the worst case scenario, they get to the end and it's like, you know, I'm busted.
Yeah.
Like, hey, man, you go out to the alley and take some shirts. You know, give me something.
Yeah.
I'll pay you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so that way you're not really catfishing the catfish or whatever it is. You're just
That's right. What did you call that?
Catfishing?
Catfishing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's what they're
Is that what they call it? I'm gonna have to look at that and put that in the description or in the title, because if that is something people are searching for it.
Well, and part of what we were talking about before the camera got turned on is, as I was just explaining from my standpoint, is why is it I'm even willing to deal with this bullshit? Because the standpoint, you could do a professional thing. I mean, you've seen our movies, right? I mean, we know what we're doing.
This actually might come up before the movies, Chris.
Oh.
Because this is a piece all in its own.
I was thinking about the Attack of the Box. The Tiger.
Yeah, all right. Well, what we did over there in the other studio is different.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that why, and it's that psychology, and we're talking about some people that we know, and like, why would you fall for this, or why would you, you know, feed into this or keep going with this when you know it's like the craps table, or you know, probably worse odds than the craps table. It's like you have that one little thing of, is humanity so depraved you need $50 so bad you're willing to kill somebody?
Yeah.
You know, what do you, I mean, and what country are you from? You know, and why can't you talk to me on a FaceTime video or whatever it is? I mean,
how viral do you think this would go? Not this, okay, but we're going to sell a t-shirt, all right? And we kind of label it or title it or something like that, or keyword it that girl, pictures of girl showing her taco. If that was in there, and it was, what is this?
Yeah, well, hey, man. I mean, and there's a lot of that shit. But the thing is that then if she actually did show the taco from the taco shirt, then that would at least you wouldn't be lying.
You could have her Photoshop that thing in too. Send them up with the shirts. That way it's totally legit, okay? And so that way when everyone comes after me like, hey, that's not for kids type of thing, which this channel is not, by the way. This is educational only.
Oh, does that mean there's 18 plus required or something like that? Because I mean, sometimes I swear.
No. You can be under 18, but this is just not designed for children.
Okay, but here's the deal. I mean, because I don't know who is stupid enough to watch me, but
well, they're already hooked.
Well, if you're hooked, send an email, and chances are, if we get a whole bunch of responses, we'll have to throw the names in a bag. We'll send you out one of every shirt. It has to be the same size, and you do the shoot, and you send us the pictures. And we'll
use the casting call then.
Yeah, this is a casting call.
There you
That's
go.
right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And you don't even have to catfish. No, you don't have to send me pictures of your ex-girlfriend, ex-wife.
Right,
you know, none of that stuff. But this is a random. In other words, that randomness of what we do is so, I think, important.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say most of the time it doesn't work out, because as long as you work and you're moving forward, something always happens. It's even like with this catfishing thing going on right now.
Yeah.
Something's going to happen. If nothing else.
Yeah, I know.
If nothing else. You know, it's just that randomness element. I mean, we used to, again, I guess we're not talking about movies and stuff like that, but do things that we're not comfortable with because it breaks through that chain of oh, I'm okay. It's not so much that fat cats don't hunt, but it's like you sometimes have to have somebody come up and hit you in the back of the head. And you're like, oh, well, okay. And then you never know.
Yeah.
And, I mean, obviously, if you're just doing nothing but random shit, then you're going to be like Carl. Love you, brother.
Well, yeah. Interesting.
Yep. So, anyway, of course, no one on here who's even possibly has any idea of what I'm talking about, how it's like to be, I'm just a poor taco maker. I'm a lonely old man. Like, come on, man. Seriously? I'm busier than anybody I know. And then suddenly you get like this wild craziness. I mean, again, that's that randomness where it just kind of, it gives you just a little bit more.
I getting this 7-day morning munchies or whatever they call it in the morning, right? Yeah, it's email and video, and it's not new. It's been recorded. So one of the things that was today was about setting aside, like working 25 minutes, taking 5 minutes off. And you know, you do that earlier in your day or whenever you're the best and blah, blah, blah. And he used an analogy of that, and I'm guilty of this, guys. When I went to school and I was like English or in grade school, whatever, you would have like a week or 30 days to write this paper, and you don't start working on the paper until the very last day.
You talking about you as
me and a whole lot of other people. I don't know if that's you, okay?
Oh yeah, no, that's totally me.
Okay, so if you guys went when you were going to school and you had a paper, you had a long period of time, you waited until the end and you compressed it. So people out there, if you say that you're busy and you've got no time, okay, because you're busy doing everything, you really do have time. And it comes down to, if you compressed it and you actually did it when you really needed to do it, it would take you a whole lot less time, less headaches. So if you did it early or in the day, like in the morning when you got up for half an hour, got everything done, then boom, you're off the hook.
Yeah.
And that's a reward.
It is. It would be great. But you know what? I've been through that and jammed it all in there, and sure as shit, the next semester or whatever, you go through the same thing and you're like, oh my God, I swear to God, I'd never
learned.
Never learned. And I don't know if that's a character flaw. It's definitely not an advantage, because I think you can do better work by, doing. And I do have certain things that I'm religious about.
Right.
We're
almost out here. How much you got?
I'm empty, man. As long as you're religious about it, you follow those things through. The other stuff, if you know you're gonna have to. Did we drink that old bottle?
Yeah.
Hey, all right, man.
You guys.
Well, I'm saying, it's no difference between me and Bezos. There's only 24 hours in a day. And I just read something recently like, oh, he makes sure that he has 15 minutes a day to putter around. I'm like, come on, seriously.
Yeah.
But we do. I mean, you take care of the things that have to be done, the things that should be done, and the things that could be done.
It's all prioritized. But what comes first, usually, for me at least, I do the things that I want to do every day. I mean, I want to sit out here and I want to talk to Chris. I want to drink some.
This isn't every day, though.
No, it's not. But you get my text message every day, like, let's drink.
No, it's more along the lines of, we're just starting doing this kind of stuff. But I'm saying is that you can't help but do the things you actually have to do.
You have to do those things.
Yeah.
But what if you didn't have to do those things? You just do what you want every day.
Me, the same way that I have the personality that I put that paper off until the very last day type of thing.
Yeah.
Is that I need to have a certain kind of regimen. I need to do this. I need to do this.
So maybe you need to be accountable to somebody.
Yeah, and since I'm not married,
right,
and my children are out of the house, I could sleep in my backyard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, Yeah, no, you need to have whether it's actually real or whether it's kind of just artificially created type of thing. I personally need to know, reveille 6 o'clock in the morning. You get up, you brush your teeth, you make some breakfast, have a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
But total freedom, from my standpoint, is not necessarily a gift. I understand where some people wouldn't have that problem, but I've seen enough people that they have the total freedom of time.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, all they're doing is just sitting there going, "Wah." And that's where, again, we need to build the shop, to have something to build.
Yeah.
I need to be using my hands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Arnold women are great, too. Even if it's a catfish, you're swiggling around. Oh, let me gather.
All right, I'm going to cut this video here. Thanks for watching, guys.